restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Ever wonder how the credit card companies make their money? Well, think about this. If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down? You'll shell out over $13,000 in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Debt Solutions Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. We promise we can and will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis.
800-932-5112. 800-932-5112. 800-932-5112. That's 800-932-5112.
Rely on us for complete news coverage. We're Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez says he's heard the calls for his resignation now that he's been indicted on federal bribery charges. But the Democrat says he isn't listening.
To those who have rushed to judgment, you have done so based on a limited set of facts framed by the prosecution.
Among those who want Menendez to step down, New Jersey's Governor Phil Murphy and most of the state's congressional delegation. The latest ABC News Washington Post poll gives former President Trump a 9-point lead over President Biden in the 2024 presidential race. ABC's Karen Travers has details.
The White House doesn't like to weigh in on every poll that comes out because they would be doing that almost every day. But this one is really brutal for President Biden. That approval rating, just 37%. Shows him deeply underwater. And this isn't campaign. You know, they're talking right now in this poll about the job the president is doing in office right now.
A career high number of voters say they disapprove of Mr. Biden's handling of the economy, his border policies, and his mental acuity. Time is not on his side, but House Speaker Kevin McCarthy still thinks he can get Republicans behind a measure to avoid a government shutdown.
The House Speaker says he'll first try to pass year-long bills funding most of the government, including the Departments of Defense, State, Homeland Security, and Agriculture. But those measures would include cuts that the Democrats who control the Senate would never accept. McCarthy says he's also ready to put a short-term stopgap on the floor to avoid a shutdown next week, but former President Trump urges House Republicans to force a shutdown unless they get everything they seek.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Writers Guild of America members could vote as soon as tomorrow on a contract with Hollywood studios. That would end a nearly 5-month-long strike, but it wouldn't get production on sets up and running yet. That's because SAG-AFTRA, the actors union, is still on strike. You're listening to ABC News.
2 times the healthy blood pressure support? That's a number to rave about. Thanks to Superbeats Heart Chew's unique 2X ingredient that helps promote normal blood pressure nearly 2 times more effectively than diet and exercise alone. Superbeats is America's #1 selling beet brand and the only #1 cardiologist, doctor, and pharmacist recommended beet brand for heart health support. A clinical study showed that the key ingredient in Superbeats Heart Chews is nearly 2 times more effective at supporting normal blood pressure than a healthy lifestyle alone. And they're part of a brand with over 60,000 5-star ratings and reviews. So double your potential with a special offer exclusively for radio listeners. Get a free 30-day supply of Superbeats Heart Chews and 15% off your first order at getsuperbeats.com with code RADIO. That's a free 30-day supply and 15% off for radio listeners only at getsuperbeets.com, code RADIO.
New pledges of U.S. support for South Korea from America's top diplomat. He made the assurances as the world watches the growing military cooperation between Russia and North Korea.
Korea, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand are now regular and active participants in NATO meetings. As President Yoon has said, European and Indo-Pacific security are now truly indivisible.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken speaking at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. It was a very special delivery to the Johnson Space Center in Texas. A capsule full of samples that was brought back from a faraway asteroid.
Asteroid Bennu, named for the Egyptian god of the sun and rebirth, is older than the Earth. Scientists knew that it was due for a close pass 7 years ago and
liftoff of OSIRIS-REx
sent a probe called OSIRIS-REx to catch up with it, collect samples from its surface, and bring them back. On Sunday, a small container of dirt and pebbles from Bennu parachuted down to the Utah desert to teach us about the origins of this planet. Bennu, by the way, is due for another close pass in 2182. Some theorize that it could hit us. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Workers have uncovered 8 mummies and a number of pre-Inca objects while expanding the gas network in Peru. They're the latest of more than 1,900 discoveries as the excavation work continues. This is ABC News.
Build the custom home of your dreams with Adair Homes. Take advantage of their limited time offer of 4.875% interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage when you finance with Adair Financial Services. That's up to $1,200 savings each month. Visit ADAIRhomes.com to find out more. 4.875 interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage with a 4.949 APR. Other restrictions apply. Visit AdairHomes.com for additional disclosures. Adair Financial Services, NMLS number 4586.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Join Airport Garden Center for the upcoming Rose Class. Saturday, September 30th. It's the Fall and Winter Rose Care Class. Learn when to prune, what to feed, and how to protect your gorgeous roses for the upcoming season. Featuring special guest Tamara Allen. Tickets available at airportgardencenter.biz. You know it's true. Quality plants start with quality soil. And right now at Airport Garden Center, GMB Organic Soil Building Conditioner is buy one, get one free bag sale. Soil Building Conditioner is the perfect amendment for your lawn. It also promotes root development. Stock up on GMB Organics now with the buy one, get one free sale. We hope to see you here for the upcoming Fall and Winter Rose Care Class, September 30th. Tickets available at airportgarden.biz. Airport Garden Center. Planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
This is Pepper with your KONP News headlines, brought to you today by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. Call 457-6600. A shift in the wind once again brought a heavy layer of smoke to our community on Friday, but folks at the National Weather Service are expecting that to clear out by Saturday, and we're expecting a lot of rain within the next week. Will it be enough to help put out those fires in Olympic National Park? Park officials and the National Weather Service says there's reason to be cautiously optimistic that this could take care of things to end the fire season. You'll see this story and more on our website at myclallamcounty.com.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Cloudy skies this afternoon with scattered thunderstorms likely. Daytime highs approaching 65. Winds out of the northeast 10 to 15 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 51. Overcast skies. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. Highs around 61. Cloudy skies expected. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 61 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
Well, it is not Todd, it is Amanda filling in for Todd this week. Thank you for joining us on this last Monday of September. Wow. I know what month it is. I can do this. I am very excited to be filling in this week because I get to chat with some very cool people. Make sure you turn to myclallamcounty.com and check out all of the interviews we have lined up this week on the Todd Ortloff Show. But first things first, we're going to be talking to Danielle Carson, and she works with the Wazoo Extension here in Clallam County. And we're going to be talking about food, healthy choices, and how you can get your hands on the healthy food and the healthy choices. So Danielle, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. So first things first, I would love to introduce you to the people of Clallam County because you're still kind of a newbie to the area. So I would love people to know who you are and kind of where you came from and your background.
Yeah, thank you. So I moved to the peninsula during the pandemic, actually. And I have a background in working in agriculture and on farms. And so I moved here to manage a farm in Sequim, River Run Farm. Some of you might be familiar. Some of you maybe are CSA subscribers. And I worked there for a couple of years. And during that time, I was studying for a master's degree in sustainable food systems because in addition to working in agriculture, I became really interested in sort of the systems and the policy behind food and specifically how small local food systems work. Really very interested in how a region can sustain itself off of its local abundance. And so I ended up getting connected with Clea Rome, the director of the local Wazoo Extension office, as well as some staff there, and started running the community health program.
I think, a lot of us, I grew up in Sequim, born and raised here, and obviously Sequim is considered, in my mind, it's, farm country, it's farmlands. And yet when I drive through Sequim, it's just like, but are there farmlands? And so I kind of start to forget that we do have farm sources here that can continue to feed us. And so can you talk about the farms and what we have locally that is at our disposal?
Yeah, great question. And it's true, you drive around, you don't really see a lot of agriculture, right? And traditionally, this was not an agricultural region, right? It was a region that was maintained by the tribes that have inhabited this land for such a long time. But after European colonization, there was a really huge prevalence of dairy farms, and we've lost many of those dairy farms, and now there's only, I believe, just one in Sequim. I hope I'm not missing another one. That's the Dungeness Valley Creamery. But over time, vegetable farming really started to take hold.
Actually, there is another dairy. There's, I believe, Valley View is also, because that's over on Schmuck Road. And the reason I know that is because that's my family. Oh, I know. Great. I'm a schmuck. Thank you. I just wanted to throw that. You're welcome. I just like to throw that out there whenever I can.
That's great. Yeah. And so now there's a pretty big prevalence of vegetable farms out here, but they're all extremely small farms. So the majority of farms out in this region only profit less than $10,000 a year. So we're talking about micro small farms. And so our extension office is really dedicated to coming up with micro solutions for micro farms, right? So we really look to, at least for my community health program, to sort of developing market opportunities for small farms to sell their produce locally, and also to identify people who have the ability to buy produce or could have the ability to buy local produce and maybe just need a little bit more education and encouragement to do that, and to connect people with their local farms to access really high quality fresh food.
So that brings us to SNAP and the SNAP education program that you are a part of. So explain to us what SNAP is, because I think a lot of us have seen it. We've seen the letters, we've seen it, at our grocery stores, but I don't, I wouldn't be able to give a elevator speech on what it is. So can you tell us what that is in our area?
Yeah. So SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And this is sort of the rebranding of what used to be the food stamps program. So folks who are eligible for SNAP usually earn or live at 130% of the federal poverty level. And that is either based on individual or family income, household income. And people who are eligible get an EBT card, and they get a certain amount of benefits depending on their income on that EBT card, and they're able to use it just like a debit card at a grocery store. The majority of food retailers in our region accept SNAP. A lot of corner stores, grocery stores, pretty much anywhere you can buy fresh food that's not already ready to eat, accept SNAP.
That's incredible to me. And why was there a shift from, I even still refer to it as the food stamp program because that's just how I was raised. What was the shift to make it SNAP and to focus more on education? Was it to focus more on education?
Yeah, and I'm actually not too sure about the history of that sort of rebranding of food stamps over to SNAP, but SNAP Ed, which is really the program that funds myself as well as 4 other staff members, it is really dedicated to putting people in a community to do some sort of education, whether it is direct education, which was the traditional approach. So identifying people in the community who, or the demographics who receive SNAP, and then offering direct education and other guidance to make healthy choices. SNAP-Ed now is really committed to doing a lot more what we refer to as policy systems and environment approaches to sort of public health interventions. So anyone who works in public health will recognize that phrase, policy systems and environment, or PSE. And what that really means is that we are trying to make adjustments in our food environment and in environments where people shop or go to school or work or play, so that it's a lot easier to make healthy choices. And, you know, we're really not wanting to sort of dismiss people who choose to eat things that are high in sodium or sugar. We really want to sort of positively reinforce the fact that healthy food makes us feel good, right? And healthy food connects us to our community and connects us to our roots in many cases.
And I think you hit the nail on the head with the easy part of it too. I mean, I know that after a long day, in my head, easy is not going and chopping up vegetables and sauteing them and making healthy choices, which technically every time I do it, I'm like, actually, this was way easier than I remembered it being in my head. But an easy option is, you know, drive-through or fast food or whatever. And I think it is so incredibly important to remind people that easy actually, you can make stuff easy and healthy, and it doesn't have to be gourmet, super gourmet, and that there's incentives for living this healthy lifestyle. And we're not saying that you can't go have a piece of cake every now and then, because my God, I mean, what would the world be without frosting? But there's incentives that SNAP-Ed offers for those who are deciding to really kind of focus more on the healthy living.
Right. Yeah. And thank you for mentioning that, because there's really not a lot of awareness about these programs, even though our office is tasked with distributing flyers and resources to community partners. There are these incentive programs that are honestly pretty sweet deals that just not a lot of people know about. So one of them is SNAP Produce Match, where the Department of Health works with mostly Safeway stores, but we're really working to expand the program to other independent grocers. And the way SNAP Produce Match works is for every $10 that a person with SNAP spends on fresh fruits, vegetables, or mushrooms, which is their own category.
Okay.
They get a $10 coupon for their next visit for fresh fruits and vegetables. So they're essentially getting $20 worth of produce for spending $10 on produce. The other incentive program that is that I think is really awesome. Oh, you have a question?
Just real quick.
Yeah.
So if I go to the store and I'm using my EBT card, I go to the store and I purchase $10 worth of vegetables. Is it a coupon that prints out there at the register?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
That's incredible.
And that is mostly at Safeway stores. So if anyone who's listening shops at Safeway, and if you have SNAP, then look out for that coupon printing out on your receipt. I think that the cashiers don't always explicitly say that the coupon is on the receipt.
They're busy.
And, right. They're totally busy. So take a look for that, because it is really an awesome incentive program. But the one that I'm really a big fan of is SNAP Market Match.
This is incredible to me.
Yeah, where our local farmers markets, they do some independent fundraising to match up to a certain amount. And so if you have EBT and you shop at the farmers market, you visit the market booth, ask them how their SNAP Market Match program works. But oftentimes you go to a farm vendor, you buy, let's say, $40 worth of fruits and vegetables. Let's say you have a really big family and you're buying $40 with your EBT. You can get matched dollar for dollar on those fruits, vegetables, and mushrooms at the farmer's market. So you can spend $40 and you can take home $80 worth of produce. Now, I just want to add that this depends on the farmer's market that you're shopping at, and it also depends on the year, because our farmers markets work really hard to fundraise to be able to support these matching programs. And I believe that the amount that they're given by the state is much less than what our local markets are matching. So make sure that you ask the very friendly staff at the market booth if you decide you want to try this program out.
I love how you guys are making it so much easier to get the healthy stuff in people's hands. Because for a long time, it felt like it cost more to eat healthy. And I like that there's been a focus and a shift on making it affordable.
Right. And I think the perishability of fresh food is often a deterrent for people.
Yeah.
And I have noticed that when I shop for vegetables at Safeway and grocery stores that have, much longer supply chains where they're getting produce in from, let's say, California or Mexico or even farther, that produce just doesn't last as long as local produce. And so the fact that there are much more robust matching programs to support purchases of local food is really wonderful, because I'll buy something at the farmer's market or buy something from a local farm stand, and no kidding, I'll get a bag of salad mix and it'll last like 2 weeks. It'll last so long. It's a lot fresher, it's healthier for you, and the experience of shopping local at the farmer's market and having the increased ability to do that with these incentive programs just also really builds community. I leave the farmer's market feeling so nourished from chatting with our local growers.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for people who may not be a part of the SNAP program, but want to get involved, want to help, want to learn more about fundraising so that they can help people who are in the SNAP program be able to use those matching dollars when it comes to farmers markets, can they get in touch with you? Can they call you? I mean, how can people get involved with this program and learn more?
Yeah, the tricky thing about SNAP is that it's a federal program. It's funded by the USDA. And SNAP Ed is administered by our state Department of Health. And so there's not a lot that can be done at that level to support SNAP benefits. But if you are interested in supporting local venues that promote fresh eating for people who are low income, I would say donate to your local farmers market anytime that a farmers market's doing a fundraising campaign, and also donate to your local food banks, because as I'll talk a little bit about later, our SNAP Ed program works with food banks to try to get a lot of fresh and local food into people's bellies that way too. And they work really, really hard to make sure that the quality of food that's being provided through these no-cost food streams is just tip top.
Yeah. And that's going to be a great segue for us to take a break. And when we do come back, we're going to be talking about getting fresh food into our schools and also to the food banks, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Danielle Carson is here from SNAP and from the Wazoo Extension office, actually, here in Port Angeles, and we are talking about the SNAP Ed program and how we can get that fresh food into all of our hands, and how we can support locals. So we'll be back with more of the Todd Ortloff Show right after this.
At Olympic Peninsula Title, we wear a lot of different hats. We're investigators, analysts, and the protectors of property rights. We seek a high standard of accuracy. Our commitment to exceptional service strengthens our mission. We reduce risk. We stay on top of the current issues affecting property rights. We sweat the small stuff to give our customers the peace of mind they deserve. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title. Locally owned and family run since 1981.
Clallam County, the Backyard Butchers are here with 20 ribeyes or 2 pounds of king crab leg for $39. Just look for the big white truck in the parking lot at Tractor Supply Company in Port Angeles. Stock up and save on bulk meat specials on beef, chicken, and seafood. And you can register to win $300 in steak. 2 pounds of king crab legs or 20 ribeyes for $39? Oh yeah, don't wait, as the Backyard Butchers are here for a very limited time, today through Monday only. Look for the big white truck in the parking lot right now at Tractor Supply Company in Port Angeles and get 20 ribeyes or 2 pounds of king crab legs for just $39. It's today through Monday only. Visit backyardbutchers.com to find all locations and info. Backyardbutchers.com. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT accepted. Backyard Butchers are on site now at the Tractor Supply parking lot. Stock up on bulk meat specials today.
Time keeps rolling along, and September is the month we roll out of summer and into fall. This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and this month is a great time to get your car serviced for the months ahead. We offer competitive prices on all of our service options, and the Wilder Advantage includes a staff of factory-trained technicians, free safety inspection with any service, and free car wash. We'd love to keep you rolling, so give us a call to schedule your next service visit or schedule online 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
A new season has arrived, and that brings all new things to downtown Easy Pawn. Our flagship store is undergoing a bit of an interior facelift. You'll see changes inside and some rearranging and updating in our already amazing jewelry section. New Celtic fashion jewelry and accessories will be arriving, and we've recently stocked up on Dungeons & Dragons and anime-themed merch. Lots more in store in the very near future. But for now, check out our new merchandise arriving weekly. Easy Pawn in downtown Port Angeles.
Klahani Gymnastics is so much more than mats, bars, and balance beams. It's a place for building strength and confidence in our kids. It's promoting self-esteem and key building blocks for a healthy lifestyle. And of course, fitness is always fun at Klahani. Get the favorite child in your life a gift certificate for tuition and call to check on our schedule for upcoming classes. 360-457-5187. Klahani Gymnastics on Acorn Lane in Port Angeles. Making fitness fun since 2009.
We are back on the Todd Ortloff Show. I'm Amanda Bacon, filling in for the vacationing Todd Ortloff. You're stuck with me all week, people. But we have some really great shows. They incentivize people actually listening, even though Todd's not here. So we have some really great guests. And right now, my guest is Danielle Carson. We're talking about the Wazoo Extension Office here and different things, different programs that you guys are a part of. And we're talking about SNAP Ed. And now we're going to shift our focus to our schools and to the food banks and getting fresh food to both. So tell me your involvement with that and how you're able to get into these organizations.
Yeah, so we sort of dub our program the Community Health Program. We're funded by SNAP Ed, but I mentioned earlier that we do a lot of policy, systems, and environment work. And so our work with food banks and schools and other sort of local agencies or organizations that serve a lot of people who a high percentage of those people are likely low income, that's kind of our bread and butter. We really try to work in those areas where maybe there's a need for higher quality food or more food access, and the people running those organizations maybe are really strapped, right? Our public schools are pretty strapped for resources, and food banks can always use a lot more help. So that's where our the Extension Office steps in to maybe write some grants or develop some programs to help kind of get more fresh local food and change the sort of systems and environments in those places to help people make healthier choices.
So, you know, I don't know if it's just naivete or because I don't have a child in the school system, so I'm not paying attention as closely as I should. But I'm seeing here that Clallam County has the second highest rate of childhood food insecurities. Is that in Washington State?
Yeah, so that data is actually this year the rate went down to the fourth highest.
Oh, so, congratulations, us.
Yeah. So so we now have the fourth highest rate of childhood food insecurity. And food insecurity is a term that is a little bit difficult to pin down. It's usually measured by self-reported data. So food insecurity, for instance, if you've ever gone to see a new primary care physician, they might ask you a set of 3 questions that previously has been referred to as the hunger vital sign, where they ask, how often have you been worried about accessing your next meal? Do you ever worry about having enough food to eat, right? And based on those answers, that's how they determine the rate of food insecurity in any given region. But we like to look at food insecurity through the lens of, through more of a global lens, where we look more at the quality of nutrition that people are getting, right? So it's not only calories, it's looking at quality. And I feel really proud to be working with community partners such as our local food banks. the Peninsula Food Coalition is a coalition of pretty much all of the food access organizations in the region, where they're really driven by moving beyond emergency food into providing fresh and high quality food. And so an example of what we've sort of built through that coalition and in our extension program is our Farm to Food Pantry program, where we secure funding to help food banks enter into contracts with local farms to purchase produce from those farms, because food banks do have budgets to purchase some food. Other food they receive just through commodity streams. And this past year, just through our Farm to Food Pantry program, we purchased around $70,000 in local food for food banks and pantries. And there are some times when, we go into the food bank and we see what's in their walk-in fridge. And there are some cases where it's pretty much all local food that's in there, because that has been really the most consistent supply of food. So we feel really proud to be getting that fresh food into people's hands. And I, have chatted a lot with food pantry clients, and they really appreciate it as well, because just because you're shopping at a food bank doesn't mean that you need to eat canned beans or
which are great.
Which are great.
So great, but you need to add in that fresh stuff with it.
Absolutely.
So I have a question for you, and I don't know if you have the answer to this or not, but we're helping people, educating people, getting them healthy food. Is there some sort of cookbook or some sort of access for them to then, when they take this home, they don't stare at it and go, I have no idea what to do with the zucchini and turnip? Do you have some sort of information for them so that they know how to then use the food that they're given?
Yeah, that's such a good question, and it's so critical. We do work with food banks to make sure that food banks have recipes out that sort of correspond with the things that they're distributing, and we're constantly trying to do more of that. We also are getting started on developing a class series that's specifically dedicated to trauma-informed nutrition education. So this is people who maybe have a little bit of trauma associated with diets and maybe just need a little bit of guidance on eating healthier because they want to make those lifestyle changes, but they don't want to hear reduce sugar, reduce sodium, right? They just want to know, how do I shop local or not local? How do I shop for healthy food on a budget? And how do I incorporate these foods into my diet? So we're launching a class series called Leah's Pantry Waste Reduction, and our staff person Benji Ostracon is leading that class, and he's looking for folks who are interested in taking it. It's totally free. That's at the Port Angeles Food Bank, and we're starting to get some dates set up for that. So that's a great opportunity for people who are at the food bank who are maybe seeing veggies that they're not really familiar with to learn how to take them home and cook with them, and also reduce the amount of food that's being wasted. So part of this course will be learning how to make a really awesome veggie stock with scraps that you might have thrown away otherwise.
Is it soup season?
Oh, yes. It's the perfect time for that. Yeah. So if you're interested in this course, then you can check our website, and that course is open to people who receive SNAP.
Question for those of us who enjoy cooking and also would like more recipes, are they accessible to everyone? And then also for those people who are phenomenal cooks and they have these recipes that incorporate these fantastic fruits and veggies and delicious, chicken and the good things that stick to your bones, as my grandma used to say. Can they submit recipes to you guys? I mean, are you accepting those?
Oh, wow, that is such a good idea. It would be so cool to compile some sort of like community cookbook.
Yeah.
I think that, I love working with food banks because I think they really cultivate that kind of community spirit where there are a lot of people who shop there who would probably love to share recipes. And so I'm going to follow up on that, actually. Cool. But as far as recipes that SNAP Ed has available, our website is wa-snaped.org, and there are lots of recipes on there that are usually tailored to for people who have maybe smaller food budgets and who are maybe trying to cut, maybe lower their cholesterol and cut sugars out of their cooking. And so that's a great resource for recipes.
Got to tell you, I know a lot of people who aren't necessarily involved with the SNAP program who are trying to do those things as well.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a fantastic resource, and plus it'll connect everyone to you guys and to everything that you do. Danielle, is there a way that people can get in touch with you if they have questions about today or want to help in any sort of way?
Yeah. So our Clallam County Extension website is a great way to learn more about our programs. All of us have our email addresses and our phone numbers on there. So you can check out that website and see what's going on and reach out to us directly.
I will find that website and I will make sure to attach it to this podcast when the show is over so that people can go to our website and find it very easily and click on that and get in touch with you guys. I think this is just an incredible asset that we have in our community, and I just thank you so much for your time coming in today and talking about it. And yes, absolutely. Yes.
So I did actually want to share one more thing. So I didn't speak much about our work with schools.
Yes.
But I just wanted to kind of put a plug in there and just let the community know that our extension office has launched a farm to school program. And I'm not sure how much time I have to share about that, but there will be so many more details on our website about it and on our social media. But the thing that I really want to share is that we are working with the Port Angeles School District on a grant that they were awarded called the Healthy Meals Incentives Grant. They were awarded around $100,000 to, over the next 2 years, improve the quality of their school meals. And so
wow,
with our extension office being really the local expert on local food sourcing, we're helping out with sourcing some fresh and local food, as well as just really tapping into the students to inform these school menu changes. So we're launching a survey this week where the students are going to have the opportunity to share really what they like about current school meals, what they would like to see, and develop sampling and recipes based on that feedback. And we really would love the community to be involved. We'd love to hear from parents. We'd love teachers to be involved in this work, to speak to your local school board and to share about how meaningful this will be for kids' nutrition and for kids' focus in school and engagement. And so please reach out to us if you want to get involved with this initiative. If you want to speak to the school board, we would just really love to sustain this movement to improve food in local schools.
That is not something that was talked about when I was in high school.
Yeah. Right, and this is a movement that's been happening for a little while across the country.
Well, it's been a hot minute since I was in high school.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, it's been a long time.
I would not have known.
Yeah. I remember when we hadn't even been put on milk cartons yet back when I was in high school. I mean, that was a thing that finally started coming out.
Right.
It's been a while. So I'm excited to hear that this is something that's going into our schools, because when you can start kids young and get their mind in a direction of eating healthy and just making those choices without even having to make the choices, they just become automatic. That's when we start to see change through the years and break cycles.
Right. And I think school food is developed based on the idea that kids don't like to eat healthy. And to a certain extent, if you just stick fresh veggies into a salad bar and ask the kids to eat them, chances are that, many of them will not like that. So that's why our Farm to School program also includes garden-based education. We have hired at the beginning of this year a really awesome garden-based educator. Her name is Amelia. She is reaching out to schools in the Port Angeles School District and scheduling classes in their school gardens, and also helping schools develop new school gardens, because it takes around 10 experiences with a new food, positive experiences, for a child to want to start eating that food, right?
Wow.
So if a child's first experience with an apple is a mealy, waxy, red delicious apple, they're not going to want to eat apples. But if their apple is a maybe local, fresh, sweet,
crisp,
sun-ripened, crisp apple, right? Then they're much more likely to eat apples. And so we have kids out in gardens tasting kale, eating snap peas, eating tomatoes that they were involved in growing, and we really fully believe that positive association will encourage kids to make, to choose healthier things as long as they have the choice in their cafeterias. So we're working on developing these garden programs. We're working on building choice into school meals, improving the offerings, making sure that they're fresh, and just really trying to get our younger generations eating healthier.
Education, baby. I love it. Thank you so much, Danielle, for everything that you do for our community. And I just think I think it's incredible that locally and in our small area and our small communities, we have this option for our kids and the adults too. But thank you to the Extension office too for your hard work.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
Yeah, come back again and let's chat more. Let's chat again. Well, before, hopefully, it won't be too long, when we're like the lowest, and Clallam County is the lowest food security county in Washington.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's work towards that, shall we?
Yes, definitely.
All right, my friend, thank you so much for your time. When we come back, I got to sit down with former Late Late Show, Craig Ferguson. He was the host of the Late Late Show, kick in the pants, and just one of the best accents in all of the land. Also, one of my top 5 hotties that I've loved my entire life. Because I'm a professional, I decided I needed to tell you that. When we come back, we'll have that interview with Mr. Craig Ferguson with our newest bacon bit.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg salutes our military veterans, active duty, and first responders each and every day. This isn't a special or a one-time deal. 365 days a year, Red Carpet offers 10% off all services to this special group. Please let them know who you are so they can honor you. And for Purple Heart recipients, you'll receive a free wash anytime, every day. Please accept our appreciation for your service and sacrifice. Red Carpet Car Wash, open Monday through Sunday, 8 till 5.
Hello, this is Amanda Huff with Swim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called Natural Organic Reduction, or simply Terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you'd like more information about Terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Swim Valley Chapel and Swim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Swim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
We live in a spectacular setting, perfect for your dream home. Now, if we can just make it affordable. I have good news for you. Mountain View Homes in Sequim can make your dream home affordable. Mountain View Homes offer full-service land packages, dirt to turnkey manufactured homes for far less than stick-built, 40 to 50% less. It's worth checking out. Give Mountain View Homes a call right here in Carlsberg or visit mountainviewhomes.com. That's mtviewhomes.com.
The Ramsey Show.
I'm trying to figure out how much we need to make to pay off debt and build up the emergency fund.
How much debt do you have?
The car payment and student loans.
How much do you owe on the car?
About 24.
Sell it.
We just bought it.
You shouldn't have bought that car. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
It's the reason your budget's tight. This wasn't the conversation you wanted to have, is it?
I had a feeling it would go this way.
Catch The Ramsey Show from 2 to 4 Monday through Friday on your local information station, Newsradio KONP.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Michael McDonald. With the cooler temperatures, more people are using their fireplaces to stay warm. Washington State Fire Marshal says last year there were 757 fire incidents caused by heating, and they led to $8 million in damage. To protect your home, keep flammables at least 3 feet away from a fireplace or wood stove. Do not burn paper, and have chimneys inspected once a year. Also, make sure you have a working smoke detector and a carbon monoxide alarm to be sure the fireplace is venting properly. Washington State and the United Kingdom will start doing more business. Coming up tonight, Washington Governor Jay Inslee and the UK's Minister for Industry will sign a memorandum of understanding. This will emphasize the importance of the aerospace industry for both Washington and the UK. The UK's Minister for Industry is in Washington State to attend the 2023 Boeing Supplier Showcase. And a woman faces first-degree assault charges in connection with a shooting in Richland early Saturday morning. Officers were called out to a home in the 1900 block of Cypress Place, arresting the suspect as she was trying to leave the scene. They say that she shot a man in the leg during an argument there. He was taken to medical facility for treatment. The man and the woman live in the home together. For details on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app or visit WashingtonStateNews.net.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I taught for 20 years, until I started forgetting my lectures.
Eventually, he had to quit. Getting his early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard, but it gave us time to take control of the situation, together.
I can't imagine going through this without him.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Cloudy skies this afternoon with scattered thunderstorms likely. Daytime highs approaching 65. Winds out of the northeast 10 to 15 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 51. Overcast skies. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. Highs around 61. Cloudy skies expected. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 61 degrees.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg salutes our military veterans, active duty, and first responders each and every day. This isn't a special or a one-time deal. 365 days a year, Red Carpet offers 10% off all services to this special group. Please let them know who you are so they can honor you. And for Purple Heart recipients, you'll receive a free wash anytime, every day. Please accept our appreciation for your service and sacrifice. Red Carpet Car Wash, open Monday through Sunday, 8 till 5.
Saving on your home improvement projects is almost as important as the service you should receive. With Angelus Millwork, Angelus Rentals, and Hartnagel Building Supply, you can always depend on superior customer service. But did you know that your favorite employee-owned stores have monthly product specials, coupons, and sales? Monthly specials on products that you need now are handpicked so you can save up to 30% when you need it the most. When headed to your mailbox, look for the Valpak envelope with special coupons from all our stores. Angelus Rentals, the only full-service tool rental company in Port Angeles, features a different tool each month that is 25% off. In closing, visit angelusmillwork.com for the latest sale information. We have annual sales on power tools, paint and stain, decking, wood pellets, and more. What we're trying to drive home is there's always a promotion going on, so come see us often or find out more online at angelusmillwork.com. Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel Building Supply. Building homes, building community since 1906.
Olympic Peninsula Title is clearly your first choice for full title and escrow service. But did you know that they're huge supporters of our local community and many wonderful organizations? Olympic Peninsula Title has actively been a part of sponsoring groups such as Operation Uplift, OMC, scholarship funds for Clallam County graduates, graduation parties for Port Angeles and SQUIM, the Seroptimus Noon Club, the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Olympic Peninsula, and the Lions Club. Olympic Peninsula Title, continuing to do good things in our great community.
With so much financial uncertainty, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Hi, I'm Edward Jones, financial advisor, Anthony Sanders. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for the future. After all, retirement isn't the end of the road, it's a new beginning. Call us at 360-452-0550. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
And for our bacon bit today, I get to talk with Craig Ferguson, a storied late-night talk show host, who's bringing his interview talents and singular worldview to a discussion of the modern state of joy, sitting down with notable guests from the worlds of entertainment, science, government, and more. How's our joy doing? Bridled or on life support? Where do we find joy in the world that seems by any rational measure to be collapsing around us? Just as an aside, I start the interview by professing my undying love for him, because why wouldn't I? Here is my bacon bit with Craig Ferguson. Good morning, Craig.
Hello, Amanda. How are you?
I'm so fantastic. How are you?
I don't know if I can say I'm so fantastic. I'm relatively upbeat for a man of my years. I think that's probably the best I can do.
Well, I have to tell you, and I have photo documentation and proof of this. In 2011, I created a photo journal on my Facebook page entitled Men Who Have Caught My Fancy. And you, sir, are right there in the fold of them. And the reason I quoted that I loved you is because when he looks into the camera, he's looking directly into my soul. Plus, he can stand on stage, lip syncing to Britney Spears, and still be sexy. So there you go.
I'm deeply honored to get such a glowing description. I'm very happy to hear it. And to be part of anyone's Facebook page is, it's a great achievement.
Yeah, you've been immortalized, sir. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. You bring me joy, and now you're doing a podcast about joy. And I just want to know how this came about.
Well, what I wanted to do was, people have been asking me for a while to do a podcast. I mean, podcast is the thing that everybody does now. And I was like, I don't know. Let me think about it. And eventually I come up with this because what I wanted to do was create a very loose format, but would allow the conversation to ramble and be intimate, but also have a kind of positive kind of thrust to it. And talking about joy because everyone's got a different idea of it. And in fact, it not only that, but it kind of it has a different meaning at different points in your life. For example, 18-year-old Craig Ferguson's idea of joy is very different to 61-year-old Craig Ferguson's idea of joy. I mean, my idea of joy now is hot, mushy food with a lot of salt in it. That wasn't my thing when I was 18 years old. So it kind of I think it would allow the conversation to be about that and ultimately end up being a positive output. I wanted to do something which had the accent was on accentuate the positive, as the song says, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I mean, there are plenty of media outlets where most media outlets when you can get a kind of you can click on something and get to feel bad, but I wanted to not do that. I also wanted to have conversations with people I didn't agree with, because I think that's a skill which seems to be in low demand right now.
It's incredible that you said that, because there are people out there who I don't necessarily agree with on certain things, but I love just fiercely because they're incredible human beings. And I think that sometimes that gets forgotten, that we can disagree and still love the person.
Totally. I mean, a great example of it, the two gentlemen that I admire very much were H.G. Wells and C.S. Lewis. H.G. Wells they're both great authors. H.G. Wells was a committed atheist, and C.S. Lewis was a very, very devout Christian apologist. And yet, so clearly they saw the world from very different points of view, and yet they were friends. I think the key to that is respect. And I think if you can respect someone and be mannerly to them, then I think that's a lot of the trouble in political discourse right now, that from politicians in particular, who will describe groups of people that they don't agree with in detrimental terms, rather than just say they don't agree with them. It seems weird to me.
Well, I have to ask you, I'm looking at your guest list that you've had thus far. Angela from The Office, fantastic, love it. I was surprised to see that you and Kathy Lee Gifford are pals. I don't put you two in the same realm.
I think you're. No one could be more surprised at my friendship with Kathy Lee Gifford than Kathy Lee Gifford and myself. There's two people that we don't really see the universe the same way at all. I mean, but I adore Kathy Lee Gifford. That is a good person, and we have a different way of seeing how the universe comes together. And I don't know if she's right or I'm right, but I think she's a positive individual and a one-off. I mean, a true American one-off. They didn't make 25 of those. That's who it is.
Absolutely. What do you hope people get from this podcast besides some really good laughs? What do you hope people gain from this?
Well, laughs would be enough, but I think that what I want you to, my dream for anyone listening to it would be to finish it and go, that was cool. That was nice. I kind of feel a little better. Look, it's not going to change your life. It's a podcast, for God's sakes. It's not, it's not a wedding or God help us, a funeral, or it's not a life-changing event. It's a podcast. But what I think it might do for me, as much as anyone else, is give me a little bit of insight into people I don't know anything about.
I think this podcast is going to last a lot longer than some of the weddings that I've been to. So I think this is...
Yeah. Listen, a lot longer than some of the marriages that I've been involved in. I think that for sure.
And you're out on tour right now too. I mean, where do you even find the time to do this?
It's kind of a funny thing. I mean, especially if you're on tour. I'm in a hotel in Kansas City right now, and I'll be in the hotel until it's time to do the show, so I got plenty of time. I don't consider what I do really work. It's not really work. I've done jobs that are work. This isn't work. This is I'm very grateful to have whatever this is, but it's not work. It's kind of fun.
Is it hard, though, to go from your late night audience interaction where you have that instant gratification of laughs or awes or anything like that, and then be in podcast format where you don't have that instant? You can't hear us laughing or crying or giggling or shouting at you.
No, it's not that hard, really, because the podcast is not a performance. It's just a conversation, and a performance, like if I was doing a stand-up show in an empty theater, which I've done, then it's more difficult because you're doing a performance and the energy isn't there. But I'm not performing right now. We're talking, and so if there was, I mean, you have a lovely laugh and it's very infectious, but it's but if you don't laugh, it'll be okay. You and I will both be fine.
We'll still be friends. You'll still be on the men who caught my fancy list. That's not going anywhere.
I'm very pleased to hear it because, the older I get, I'm on less lists like that.
Well, I mean, I don't think people called me to get the official list, but in my head, this is the official list.
Yay.
Oh, man, you are absolutely delightful. You were one of my dad's favorite comedians and late show personalities, and just know that whenever your name is mentioned in our home, in our family, it's with a big smile and a lot of love in our hearts. So thank you for the years of joy that you have brought us.
That is an amazing thing to hear. Thank you so much. What a lovely thing to say. Thank you.
Well, it's the God's honest truth. So
thank you very much.
Bring your tour to the West Coast. Come hang out over here.
Yeah, I think early next year we're doing that. I'm talking to people about it this week, but I think the first quarter of next year, I'm all up and down the West Coast of the U.S.
Well, listen for the laugh, because it will be there, and I will be joyously waiting to see you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Craig. You have a fantastic day.
You too. It's lovely to talk to you.
You as well, my friend.
Join Airport Garden Center for the upcoming Rose Class. Saturday, September 30th. It's the Fall and Winter Rose Care Class. Learn when to prune, what to feed, and how to protect your gorgeous roses for the upcoming season. Featuring special guest Tamara Allen. Tickets available at airportgardencenter.biz. It's true. Quality plants start with quality soil. And right now at Airport Garden Center, GMB Organic Soil Building Conditioner is buy one, get one free bag sale. Soil Building Conditioner is the perfect amendment for your lawn. It also promotes root development. Stock up on G&B Organics now with the buy one get one free sale. We hope to see you here for the upcoming Fall and Winter Rose Care class, September 30th. Tickets available at airportgarden.biz. Airport Garden Center. Planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
Checkup on Health presented by Olympic Medical Center.
Check Up on Health with Chris Whitting.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the U.S., and one of the newest ways to measure the risk of a heart attack or stroke is a C-reactive protein test, according to researcher Christian Wild, author of How to Detect and Neutralize Hidden Causes of Heart Attack and Stroke.
It is a measurement of inflammation within your body, within your arteries. They found in the Physicians' Health Study of 543 physicians that those particular physicians who had an elevation in C-reactive protein had a 300% risk of a heart attack or stroke within the next 6 to 8 years. At the same time, there were 543 physicians who had both a slight elevation in LDL cholesterol and C-reactive protein. Those individuals had a 500% chance of it.
So be sure to ask your doctor to check both your cholesterol and C-reactive protein if you think you may be at risk of heart disease. With Checkup on Health, I'm Chris Whitting.
At Olympic Medical Center, we know that medical emergencies can be stressful, overwhelming, and sometimes scary. You deserve compassionate, quality care in your time of need, and we've made significant improvements in our emergency department with you in mind. Your care begins the moment you register. Our caring staff will be by your side, starting in the lobby, ensuring you're informed throughout your visit and doing everything they can to make sure you're comfortable. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/emergency updates.
That's going to put a wrap on the TO show today on this last Monday of September. Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you stick around all week long. We've got some great interviews lined up. And for all of the information on who's to come and who you're going to hear from, log on to myclallamcounty.com and not only listen to the podcast, but also see who's going to be on the Todd Ortloff Show this week.
We're the talk of the peninsula. Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, FM 101.7 and 101.3, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. Despite